Hi, Tom Andreas here, and I want to show you today how you can use your shop to make some pattern shingles. And pattern shingles are really cool, and you can use them on walls, and you can use them to decorate like on a bookcase or in a gable, lots of different places. But they're kind of a unique thing to make, and what we're going to use today is some aromatic red cedar, but it doesn't really matter what you make them out of because the process I'm going to show you is the same. So on any shingle, and this is what would be referred to as a sawn shingle. You can see it's thicker on one end and thinner on the other end, and that's kind of the problem that most people would have with making that. How would you do that? And so today I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I have here then is a pattern shingle that we're going to use for a person who's called and wants this particular pattern in a gable. And so you can see that it's a diamond, kind of a diamond pattern. And you can see that where the flashing at the top of the gable goes, we're going to have some flat ones along that edge. And then we'll use we'll take each individual shingle and we'll saw a miter on each end to make the diamond pattern. So we'll work through that. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is a large cedar log, an aromatic red cedar log. And so this has come from the sawmill, and we have these sawn out at 5.5 inches. And then they're plain. What I do is I run them through the thickness planer until we get them to 5 inches. And when they're at 5 inches, then we have to cut them off at 12 inches. And so I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I have the sliding compound miter saw set up so that I can cross-cut these rather large pieces. I'll have to do this in 2 passes, but each sawn shingle is going to be 12 inches, so we need to block these up into individual 12-inch pieces. And so now what I'll do is measure 12 inches here so that I can get the next block. So now we can flip the piece over so that the jointed side is against the fence again, and position the saw curve so it's in the center and I can cut it. So that's the first one. So now we've got one block we're going to turn into sawn shingles. A second block. And a third block. So I bet now you can see where that sawn shingle is going to come from. So next I'll see you at the bandsaw. Okay, so I have made a sled, a tapered sled, and I'm kind of very careful about safety, and so I want to stay away from this blade. I have the bandsaw set up with a 1-inch wide resaw blade, and it's very rigid and it's under a lot of tension, and so it's kind of like the same type of blade that you would see working in a bandsaw sawmill. And so that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to saw some material that's really thick, 5 inches thick in fact. And so basically I've made this tapered board with a handle on it, and right here is a notch on the back end of it, and you'll see how I put the block in and go ahead and cut it. So I'll start it, and I've got my blocks piled up right here ready to go, and I've got one smooth surface on this edge, and so I position the block right in the end of the stop, and you can see it's wider on this end than it is on this end, and so I'll watch it here. So what you can see then now is how we've now sawn this section off with a resaw blade, and it has marks on it. We wouldn't want that to be visible. And so that's why every time that we work one of these, then we're going to take this piece and go back over to the jointer and flatten it out. So now I'm here at my spiral head jointer, and this is an 8-inch jointer, and so we're going to use this jointer to put a flat edge, a flat machine slick edge on this surface where it has been resawn. Simply alternate between the jointer and the bandsaw, and you'll be able to see how you simply go from the bandsaw to the jointer to the bandsaw to the jointer, the bandsaw to the jointer. And so you kind of have to watch that you keep the piece parallel as you cut off the piece. The fat end of the shingle, the way that that's designed, the sled is designed, is always going to be forward. So you put the thicker end of the board forward on the sled every time you switch. Okay, so then the last thing that you're going to do in the manufacture of this shingle or the fabrication of it is simply to take two of them. You're going to wind up with quite a few of them and put them up so that they're kind of superimposed on each other. And and I've already got all my stop blocks set over here on this side clamped. So we'll cut one miter, and then if you didn't see that, then we flip that over. Cut the second miter, and so that's how we come up with the diamond pattern for that shake. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video.